Everybody. We are live. This is May 23rd, 2016. Welcome to the Fedora Council's Hangout on Air session. This is an ongoing series where we have folks from various sub-projects across Fedora give a status report on different aspects of their various activities. This week we are actually going to be hearing from Christoph Wikert, who is the outreach representative on the council, and we'll be talking about what's been going on in FAmSCo, which is the Fedora Ambassador Steering Committee, as well as some of the potential ideas for transitioning from FAmSCo to a Outreach Steering Committee that includes more stakeholders beyond ambassadors. So without further ado, I will introduce Christoph, and if you have any questions, you can also join us in #Fedora-meeting on irc.freenode.net, where we can field some Q&A, and we'll save that until after Christoph is done with his presentation. So I'm going to switch over to Christoph's slides now and take it away.
Thanks a lot for the introduction. Yeah, as you already know, my name is Christoph. I'm on FAmSCo and on the council, and we were thinking about transitioning from FAmSCo to FOSCO. FOSCO would be the Fedora Outreach Steering Committee, so it's no longer the ambassadors project alone, but also more stakeholders that we will identify further down the presentation. First of all, I would like to give you a quick status of FAmSCo as we are at the moment. Unfortunately, things are not really looking good. We have members from all around the world, which is a good thing. The downside is that it is really hard to find a meeting slot that works for everybody. So the IRC meetings are very hard. Yeah, find a common slot and also find the attention of people. Most of them are busy with real life. Some of them just moved or relocated. I relocated earlier, so that was also, we had a tough start this time. Things have gotten a little better. I'll get to that later. But the other problems we are facing is little or no communication on the mailing list. We had the decision process deadlocked at the very beginning. We have a lack of constructive criticism. We have some members who like to give a lot of feedback, but unfortunately nobody really wants to work on a clearly defined proposal. And last but not least, because of all the global members, we have a language barrier. Some people speak English better than others. I don't consider myself a good speaker, but I can assure you there are others who are worse. And yeah, that's some things we need to work on. So far we have made some progress. We now have regular meetings again, even though not everybody can attend. But most of the time we reach a quorum now. Because of the hard part with IRC, we also switched to more asynchronous communication. That means we use Track and email instead of IRC. Every decision-making process is now happening in a dedicated ticket in Track. So basically, whenever we need to make a decision, there needs to be a Track ticket. If there's no Track ticket, it didn't happen. We also elected a new chair and a new vice chair. Potty is the chair and I'm the vice chair. And after very long and hard discussions, we switched to lazy consensus. We should no longer be deadlocked because people don't care to vote or something. We now have lazy consensus, but our lazy consensus is a little different from what the council is using. Usually you have a period of, say, 72 hours or something. We have a 7 days period, and even after that 7 days, we actually give people time to speak up. I mean, on the one hand, we can be slowed down by people not, but we will never be slowed down by more than 1 week. So yeah, all decision-making processes should now happen in 1 week, which is a great progress. But This already costs us a lot of lengthy discussions. I hope things get better from now on. Okay, now to the Fedora Outreach Steering Committee. So the whole idea behind the Outreach Steering Committee is to have one body that not only represents the Fedora ambassadors, but also other outreach-related groups, such as the design team or marketing. And basically, we want to be the central gateway for all outreach efforts. That includes the sub-projects and the teams, and of course, it's a global effort. We are not sure what exactly the mission is, except that we want to bundle all the outreach efforts. But bundling also means that we will take over what the individual groups have done before. That means we will take over what the ambassadors have been doing, like go out, host event, spread the word. On the other hand, we will take over what marketing has been doing. So one of FOSCO's missions will definitely be work on or propose marketing strategies. We also will continue to manage the regional ambassadors' budgets. I called it ambassadors/outreach budgets because I think at some point we might not even distinct if it's ambassadors or outreach. It's just outreach. And also we want to be a feedback channel for the community. This is one of the very important things, as the ambassadors are the ones who go out to the people and talk to end users, not only to developers. Also, we also see ourselves in the position where we need to be the feedback channel for all these people and bring the ideas back to FOSCO and from there on to the council and whatnot. So yeah, even though we have the council that does the overall strategy, we want to be a source of input for that. So far, there have been various discussions about FOSCO. What I'm presenting here is the consensus among the current FAmSCo members. We all agree that we need a better coordination of our outreach efforts. Like in the past, we often had the ambassadors asking for marketing collaterals, or the marketing team wanted something from the ambassadors, and so on. So everybody, really everybody, not only FAmSCo, but also the ambassadors and also the design team and the marketing team, we all agreed we need to have better coordination. And I already mentioned the ambassadors, marketing, and design team on several occasions here, so that's what we consider the outreach core. But we could also think of other groups that have a kind of outreachy mission but are not strictly outreach. Think of translations or the documentation team, for example. In order to be operational, we think that this body should not have more than 10 members. At the moment, FAmSCo has 7, which is probably not enough for FOSCO. But on the other hand, we don't want to make it too big, like not more than 10 members. Ideally, we have an odd number, and yeah, to avoid standoffs. And we will add additional members if required for a certain objective or a certain project. And overall, the designs should get things done. That's why we want to switch from a more from the elected to the appointed model. So it should be meritocracy at its best. It should be lazy consensus. Yeah, summing this all up, it will be similar to the Fedora Council. So what I'm presenting here, that's really broad consensus among all FAmSCo members, but beware, there are other issues still open for discussion. There is some disagreement. We have not yet had the chance to discuss our ideas with the other groups yet. We tried that in the past, like this goes back all the way till 2014, but there was little or no response from the other teams, and that's why we felt we need to come up with a proposal, not just with a vague idea. But if we have a proposal, we will hopefully have people to buy in, or just freak out. If we are totally wrong, hopefully they will tell us, and then we have this discussion kickstarted one way or the other. Yeah, let's talk about the composition of FOSCO for a moment. Similar to the council, we should have appointed members. One of them will definitely be the Fedora Outreach lead. That's already in the title, so that will be Remy with us. Then we want to have 4 representatives of the regional ambassadors communities. At the moment, the ambassadors, I mean, they are a global group, but further divided by regions. We have North America, Latin America, EMEA, that's Europe, Middle East, and Africa, and then we have APAC, Asia, and Pacific. So these regions will continue to exist. They will continue to be part of the ambassadors project, and we feel that these 4 regions also need to have 1 representative each in FOSCO. Then, of course, we need one person at least from marketing and design. Otherwise, there's no means of having the coordination with these teams. Overall, I'd like to point out that this is, for me, more a body that is in charge of coordination rather than decision making. Some people are worried about how decision making will happen in this body, especially with 4 ambassadors. So the ambassadors group is quite strong and could easily overpower others. But to me, or to most of us in FAmSCo, that's not much of a concern. I don't think we will have these decisions that go. It won't be ambassadors versus design versus marketing or so. So for us, the main purpose is to get things done, to get better coordination, and decision making is not the most important thing. Decision making is still up to the design team, to the ambassadors, and whoever is member of our teams. They can still make decisions on their own, and we fully trust them to do the right thing, but we want to clearly get better coordination. But on the other hand, we also want to have some elected members. We are thinking of 2 elected seats, similar to the council, which has 1, as far as I know. So by now that would make it 9 members in total. And we will add auxiliary members or advisory members as required. Some members or some groups we were thinking of is the documentation team, the translations, ComOps, if they have something they want to discuss with us. The Fedora magazine can probably have their own auxiliary member, because they are a very important part of the marketing strategy. Or if it's an outreach initiative that is about reaching out to women, we could also say, okay, let's invite the diversity advisor. Again, these may change depending on what project we are currently working on. This also goes in line with the decisions that the council makes regarding the outreach initiatives that we support. So all of this is subject to change, and it will be constantly changing, but the other 9 members will be fixed. Of course, the elected members and also the representatives will be replaced over time. We're not sure what term they should serve, say 18 months, just like the council. That's all still subject to further discussion. Okay, and now let's move on to the open questions. Some people think we should include even more members, like the FPL, but I think that Matthew is already very, very busy. We have Remy here, who I consider him his right hand. So if we have one coordinator, that should be enough. On the other hand, maybe we should have the program manager involved to make sure we meet all deadlines and so on. Not sure if all these positions are really required, and perhaps there are other positions that I or we did not consider yet, so I'm open for your feedback there. And also regarding the mission, I think we need to have a really clear definition of our mission to avoid overlap with other bodies. Some people, one member of FAmSCo suggested that we should also have one or two FASCO representatives in FOSCO, and that FOSCO should also work on strategies. So at that point, I think we would have an overlap with on the technical side with FASCO and on the strategic side with the council. Personally, I don't think this is a good idea, but maybe you disagree, and I'd like to hear your opinion on that. And yeah, you can find all the current discussion. Unfortunately, it's not that much. Some of the FAmSCo members have not yet voted or have not yet added their comments. There's some more discussion on the Fedora Ambassador, on the FAmSCo mailing list. There has been some discussion in the past on various other mailing lists, but I think the current status, or what we still consider the essence of the previous discussions, is all more or less summarized in this track ticket. I hope all of you can. Oh, by the way, I'm not sure if you're allowed to open it. You should be if you're in the right groups in the account system. You need to log on, but after that, I think you should be able to see the ticket. If not, I can share the screen with you or so. But yeah, that's all from my side for now. I will stop this presentation. I will stop the screen sharing, and then we should move on to a discussion. Whatever questions you have, ask them, or whatever ideas you have, please let me know. I'm looking forward to your feedback. All right.
All right. Thank you very much, Christoph. I was taking a transcript in IRC for any of the folks who couldn't join us in channel, or couldn't join us in the Hangout rather. So if anybody has any questions, we're taking them right now in #Fedora-meeting on Freenode. So far, I haven't seen too many, but perhaps, oh, maybe it's Fedora meeting 1. That could explain it. All right, so scratch that. I guess it's in Fedora meeting 1. If you want to ask questions or take.
Now I know I was confused.
Yeah, that is slight oversight. Hopefully we're not stomping on anybody else's meetings today. Sorry.
One quick clarification point, which you may have made in there, was the council actually has 2 elected seats, but irrelevant.
Okay, thanks. That would even align us more with the council.
Great. So I'm still writing stuff down. Just give me a second here.
All right. I can continue talking if you like. I've now opened. By the way, can you guys log into the track ticket? I mean, do you see it once you're logged in?
Yeah, I can see it.
All right. While Remy types, you can just take your time to read that.
Sorry. Can you guys hear me? Yeah. Uh, for me, that ticket is hidden unless I'm logged in. Is that by design?
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. Are the other council members able to see the ticket? I've seen this one before, so. So I guess like in the meantime, I would like add that this is very much in line with the essence of the original discussion. When I arrived last March, this was something that was being discussed pretty heavily when we didn't have a FAmSCo. We decided to reactivate FAmSCo so that we could answer this question because it was difficult without having a leadership body to put in place something that we hadn't entirely plotted and implemented. So I think that what we have here in this ticket definitely represents the sort of the background of the discussion and some of the consensus that was reached even before this current incarnation of FAmSCo existed. So I'm happy with what we have here as far as the vision. And I'm also like a big tent kind of guy. So if I was going to say anything, I would say that I really like the idea of having the auxiliary and the as-needed advisory members because, if I was going to propose something like this, it would be like, I'm not as scared of having more members than less. So, I've done math on this before and had as many as like 50 people representing every sub-project in SIG. The feedback I've gotten on that, though, is that would be ridiculously chaotic and very difficult to hold meetings for, which after being here for a little while makes a lot of sense. So
actually, you're not the first one to suggest that. Some people also stated that we should include the ZIGs, at least the big ones, the working group and so on. So that's definitely worth a consideration, but let's see how it works out in practice.
Yep. Definitely.
And also, I think if we have a large part of the coordination already done through the council and through the Fedora project manager, program manager, and through, last but not least, through you, that already helps us, goes a long way. And actually, so people, I don't think they want to sit in too many meetings a week.
For sure. For sure. So I guess like maybe my next question would be, I know it's still like a little bit early in the process, but like, where do you think on a timeline, like how long do you think it would take to like get consensus to agree on something like this in FAmSCo land?
So my timeline, I discussed this with Matthew last week, is I want to get this done. Actually, we are overdue. We wanted to have this done with the last FAmSCo. We didn't get it done, so we had to elect a new one, even though we agreed this would be the last FAmSCo. And also, I was elected, or I was appointed to be the outreach representative in the council for 18 months, and I think my term is almost over, or is over. I don't think I have people would still reappoint me, but nevertheless, let's get it done ASAP. Mm-hmm. So my time horizon would be, let's have it done by FLOC, or at least have it done, have it in a state where we can just approve everything by FLOC.
I like that. And I forgot, now I started asking questions, I forgot to take notes, so I'm going to write that down in the meeting notes now.
Yeah, we have, I think we should have, I'm not sure about the details. I proposed a Meet Your FAmSCo session, and I think that most of the FAmSCo members should be present. The council is present anyway, so if we have open questions by FLOC still, we should be able to narrow that down pretty quickly.
And as like a possible strategy, I think that there's a Meet Your FAmSCo session at Flock, and if we get it figured out before then, we can sort of pivot that into being Meet Your FOSCO and include the other delegates there if we get the transition done in time. And if we don't, then we can use that as a block for people to have discussion in real time. I think that's a good strategy.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Other questions?
If there are no questions from the audience, I would like to chime in. One of the questions that comes to my mind is definitely the budget question. Will FAmSCo do? So I need to give you a little bit of background. The idea, why FAmSCo traditionally handled a large part, a big chunk of the budget was that, first of all, the ambassadors by far spend the most out to events and so on, and also because we didn't have anybody else at the point. The ambassadors are one of the groups that were founded very early in the early days of Fedora. So we had a working infrastructure, we had a body for decision-making process. So we figured it's a good idea, but I think we have made break. And yeah, we have council taking over some of the budget, at least the global part. I see no reason why FAmSCo or the Outreach Committee has to do everything. But on the other hand, I think all the outreachy budget, and that is the regional budget, should remain part of FOSCO's duties. That might actually also mean that we no longer do only events, regional events from this money, but also use it for other outreachy efforts. Think of supporting the design team or whatnot. So I would like to have this whole outreach budget under the control of FOSCO. Let's see what that means. We can still make adjustment in the next term.
Writing. Yeah, and I think that, I mean, at least for this year, the only, there is a line item now that we've established that is outreach, but so far the only thing that we're putting under that is the outreachy internship funding itself. But I think that as we move forward and we identify the kinds of activities that we want to do and the things that Tactica would like to do and the diversity outreach team, and the diversity team rather, then we can start to make proposals for, actually requesting more budget for doing that kinds of stuff specifically, and how we can coordinate with existing bodies. I think that I'm in favor of having a centralized outreach budget. That I think it would make sense if FOSCO was governing over that, but I'm just one person, so that's me saying +1, but I'm sure other people would have opinions too.
Yeah, I just want to point out there's a certain fear from some ambassadors that things get taken away from us, and I think if we say one day we will have the whole outreach budget, or we will be in charge of all the outreach activities, of all the coordination, that's a good way to counter these fears and this criticism.
Sure. And there's absolutely our policy traditionally is that the local regions know best how to support their activities, and that if somebody wants to do an outreach activity in a region, they will know how best to go about doing that. So currently, we have the diversity team that helps with advice and with coordination, but I'm always pushing for more budget when I can, and I'm really hopeful that after this year we'll be able to make a strong case and hopefully identify some funding sources for doing more of this stuff, for sure, without making it so that we're sort of dictating from central how outreach works in every region, because I still think that absolutely is a requirement that the regions are deciding how to spend it. I think it would work a lot like how it does now, where we say to the regions, these are the regional budgets. We can say to FOSCO, here are the outreach. Here's this big number for outreach, or here are these little numbers for outreach in these particular areas, and then people figure out how it goes. Or, you know, I don't see it going too far from what we already do, is what I'm trying to say. So having local decision making for budget spend is a really important aspect of our budget now, and I think we should absolutely keep it intact for future budget stuff if we're going to change that model. Cool. All right. So RobyDuck is reading in the IRC but is not able to join us in Hangout. So just FYI, I will say acknowledged. I'm going to also post a link to the ticket in IRC in case folks want to log in and take a look at it. Okay. I see.
For those of you, I'm not sure if people are allowed to comment on this ticket. If not, feel free to, if you have ideas for FOSCO, feel free to send an email to the FAmSCo mailing list. By definition, this mailing list is for FAmSCo members only, but I will be happy to moderate your message through the queue because I would love to see all the feedback that is out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe we could like CC the council discuss list as well, just as like a place to keep the conversation going to if we have to, possibly.
Yes. One more thing, one more idea we've come up to bring this forward is to have one point of contact in every potential team. So, for example, Zirko, who is member of FAmSCo, should take over the coordination with the design team because he's also big in the design team. We need to think about a point of contact for the design, for the marketing team, and same goes for docs and translations. So if somebody is volunteering, we are happy to have him in FAmSCo in one of our meetings to further discuss this.
Mm-hmm. So when is our next election cycle?
The next elections are planned after GA of Fedora 24, so it's, I believe, end of June and beginning of July, maybe.
Okay.
Like this.
I think that's going to be too soon for us to do elections for FOSCO. So maybe as a, I don't know though. I mean, how do you feel, Christoph? Do you think we could hash that out before June? That's only 2 weeks away.
No, that won't work because that's before Flock. So
yeah,
no, that won't work.
So then our next release after that will be in November, December, something like that.
Yeah, mid of November or first half of November.
Okay. So tentatively, the election would include also these 2 elected seats for FOSCO, and we would want to have our appointments also filled in by then as well, so that people know. And of course, like, you know, the ComOps team will absolutely help support election cycle stuff like we have been. I think that we've done an alright job posting stuff to the community blog, helping get nomination info out there. So, you know, we can add this to the release schedule as a thing that we want to make sure that we're doing. But yeah, I think that, you know, so after Fedora 25, I guess, is the next election cycle that we would be looking at for electing FOSCO members. Cool. I'm going to put that in the meeting notes as well.
We can also organize like extra elections just for FAmSCo whenever is needed, then skip the elections just for FAmSCo at end of November and come up with next elections when we will be after Fedora 26 GA. So the first group of elected people will be a little bit longer in their duties. However, we can arrange it as well in this way if there will be a need to have the elections organized sooner than after Fedora 25.
Okay. I mean, have we done special elections in the past?
I believe there were some special elections, and I don't see any reason why we cannot organize special elections when needed. We do it for all the groups at the same time, just to save, uh, the time and the organization effort around it. But if needed, we can organize it whenever is necessary, I believe.
Well, one of the reasons for a combined set of elections is that the more elections you combine, the more voters you usually have. And I would like to have the new FOSCO have a very strong mandate, so the more people vote. That's actually also one of the things that are up for discussion. We discussed, we had very long discussions about who is allowed to vote for FAmSCo and not, and we opened up in the past it was only the ambassadors group, but we opened that up. That's also one question we have to revisit again, but nevertheless, I would have, if possible, I would like to see a strong mandate, but on the other hand, I'm not opposed to special midterm elections or whatever you want to call it.
I think that the original FAmSCo, like our current FAmSCo body, could serve as like a transition too, so that we could say, all the people who are on current FAmSCo, if they fit into one of those buckets, we can just have them be like the interim member of FOSCO until the next election too, because they've already been involved in the planning and they've already been elected once, so there's sort of like a mandate for them to like be the first round, but then their terms would expire at the next election, and then we would do a re-election and people could run again maybe. That could be another way of making sure that we have continuity with the people who've been involved with the first round, and that we make sure that the initiative gets off the ground effectively. Because the last time we just kind of like vaporized FAmSCo and said, here's this proposal for FOSCO. So it would be nice if we had buy-in from the current folks who helped to plan it to make sure that it stayed on course. And I mean, for the most part, right, like if you think about FAmSCo, there's a pretty good chance that, I think all 4 regions except for North America are represented in FAmSCo as it is. And then, we would look at which ones were missing from the FAmSCo membership and go from there. But I will add that to the notes as well.
Yeah, from my side, it's the current FAmSCo is actually like, the previous FAmSCo was supposed to make this transition. Then the current FAmSCo is a replacement of the FAmSCo that didn't make it. Our terms are about to expire, and given the state that FAmSCo is currently in, I mean, I'm very happy that we have a lot of experienced ambassadors who have been serving on FAmSCo for quite a while and who know how it works. But on the other hand, it's probably a good time to get some fresh blood in, give some newcomers a chance. They probably have other ideas. And for my side, I would probably step down just because I don't have the time to care about it. I'm sure there are people who can dedicate more time, but once I know that FOSCO is in good shape, I have no problems handing over the responsibility to somebody else.
All right, so we are at 15 minutes to the hour. Does anybody have any other questions about FOSCO, timeline, proposals, transition plan, elections, etc.?
I have
Going once.
one question about how to move forward. I think the discussion in FAmSCo will carry on for like another 2 or 3 weeks, I'm afraid. I hope, whatever. And I think at some point I want the council to take over. Like if FAmSCo, if we don't get it done by, let's set a date, then we totally need FAmSCo, sorry, the council to drive this forward.
Consensus. Sorry, my microphone is muted. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, it would be great if we had consensus on the plan at least. That would mean a lot. I mean, the reason why we want to do this, not just like the council decrees and that we have FAmSCo, is because FAmSCo represents the regions and is a governing body that is responsible for, or has been historically responsible for, helping to make these kinds of on-the-ground decisions. So I think that if we have a plan that we agree on, the council and myself personally would definitely be interested in helping to get it off the ground. But I think consensus on the plan itself is important. So as long as we can get a vote into FAmSCo and people are comfortable with it, or we address whatever issues people have, I agree. I think we should set a deadline as well for making that decision. So you said maybe like 3 or 4 weeks, Christoph?
Yeah, I'm afraid even longer. But when was Flock?
Flock is August 3rd through the 5th, I believe. I could double check.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure those are the dates.
It's definitely the first week of August.
Yeah,
So
first
we
week of August.
definitely have like 4 weeks before Flock. I think we should be in a state where we can hand things over to the council, where FAmSCo says, here, that's our proposal. Please, council, support us in getting this out to the design team and to the marketing team. Ideally, we would be done before, like we would already have them involved in the process earlier, but I think we should have this deadline like 4 weeks before Flock. If not, then council, please help us.
Okay. So that sounds like maybe July 1st, July 4th, something like that, if that's a month before. So let's just tentatively do a...
You're on mute again.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, so the idea is that we would have a deadline in place for July 1st for the ratification of the FOSCO proposal by FAmSCo, so that we can transition starting a month before Flock. Anybody feel like that? Any objections? I will propose it in IRC as well, but when I start typing, I think it mutes my microphone.
That sounds good to me.
All right. Am I muted?
Nope.
Okay, good. So I posted the idea in channel in Fedora Meeting 1. If folks just want to chime in with a +1 or a -1, that would be helpful, or just say aye or nay here, and I will record it. It's safe to say that you're +1 on this, Christoph, since you proposed it? There we go.
Blindly approving.
Yeah. I don't believe that Matt DM has proxied his vote anywhere, but I know that he definitely is in support of having the decision made sooner than later, so we will clear it with him, but I'm pretty sure he is enthusiastically +1 on this as well.
All right, and I will let FAmSCo know about this deadline. Maybe I can kick some asses.
Yep, and you can point to this video and the meeting minutes in the ticket maybe, and we can just go from there. The
All right.
conversation starts on 14:50 local time, and I don't know what it'll look like in the meeting notes, but I'll point to the line if we need to. Cool. All right. So I feel good about this. Any other last minute questions, comments, input? Well, I've been making an extra effort to be at the FAmSCo meetings, even though it's, you know, been a rocky start. I know that we had some trouble getting to consensus on making decisions, and you know, it's been slow, but it's better to go slow and steady and make decisions that we all can agree with in public and follow the open source way than to just railroad something through that doesn't work. So I'm, you know, always wanting us to go faster, like everybody in the tech world, but I feel good that we've been doing this in public and getting consensus and doing it the Fedora way. So let's continue doing that, and I will continue helping how I can. I plan on staying involved. If anybody has questions, you know, I'm there for the council in FAmSCo meetings to make sure that I know what's going on. I am happy to continue doing that. And Christoph, if you need any advice or help or etc., particularly with reaching out between the teams, that's sort of like the core mission of the ComOps team. So we're happy to help socialize and promote and get FOSCO. You know, I can definitely say that this is a ComOps priority. Once we have the plan in place, we'll absolutely help to coordinate.
All right. Thanks for your support, and also thanks for giving us the necessary time that we needed in FAmSCo. To give you a bit of background, it has, frankly speaking, it has always been this way, because of different time zones and so on. So the local meetings, the IRC meetings, the weekly meetings were always a problem. I wouldn't say that this FAmSCo is a particularly bad or particularly good FAmSCo. Let's just agree on let's make it better with FOSCO.
Okay, good. All right, we're at 5 minutes left. In case there is any open business, I maybe would like to do a little bit of open floor just to give folks some time. But otherwise, thank you very much, Christoph, for your report and for your service in FAmSCo and for helping to transition Fedora in this new day and age. We're making a lot of changes under the hood with engineering, and I think that helping our outreach strategy catch up with some of the strategy that we've had with modularity and outreach and other initiatives and ways that we ship and build Fedora. This is an overdue thing that I think will help us align our engineering and our outreach strategies in a big way. So thank you very much for your effort, and thanks for your presentation today. Do you have a link to those slides that we can share for the meeting notes as well?
Hold on, I will do that.
Cool. That's fine. While you're doing that, I think I'm going to open it up to any questions that folks might have, and we'll change the topic in the meeting to open floor. All right. The floor is open if anybody has other business or stuff that they'd like to discuss. Awesome. I see the link in IRC. Thank you much, Christoph.
Welcome. Please add it to the meeting notes, meeting minutes.
Yep, I will. So I have one small update, really quick. So this past first quarter has been a lot about proposing a new, building some momentum behind marketing. And one of the ways that we're doing that is by proposing a new, potentially new council objective for Fedora marketing to Python groups. And we have developed, along with the design team and the marketing team, a set of graphics and assets and some messaging around our Python presence. and we're going to be sending a number of folks to PyCon here at the end of the week. So I will be out of pocket for a little while. Luckily, the next council meeting is canceled on Monday, but that'll be, right smack dab in the middle of PyCon stuff for me. So if you want to check out the stuff that we're doing around PyCon, there is a wiki page for it, and I will dig up that link in a second. And for anybody who's interested, this is the pretty amazing design that came out. Mo Duffy, we have these hex stickers, which are really cool. I have over 2,000 of them, and we're going to be not giving all of them away at PyCon. We're going to ration them out and hopefully send them out to other PyCon and Python meetups and any other Python-related stuff that we got going on. So I'm planning on saving a couple definitely for Flock. We also have some T-shirts and some brochures that we're ordering along with that. So we have a pretty decent unified branding and messaging related stuff. So in the near future, if we have an objective lead come forward, I might be presenting the Python marketing as an official council objective. I think that we've got enough of a concept behind it now where it makes sense. But we need, hopefully that same person who is the FOSCO marketing representative could be a good candidate for leading the council objective as well. So that's a little update for me personally and for the marketing and design team. Just want to make a special shout out to Ryan Lurch and Mo Duffy, who both put in lots and lots of work to make those designs and make them happen. I have another item of business, if nobody else does. For those of you who missed it, we actually had some really exciting news in Fedora land because our very own Mo Duffy was the recipient of the O'Reilly Open Source Award for 2015. This is a big deal. She actually was, we supported her in getting down to the stage in Austin, Texas for OSCON this year, and she received her award in front of thousands of people. There is a blog post somewhere that I'm looking for the link for that was posted on the Red Hat Dev blog, so folks should definitely check that out, and I will add it to the meeting notes before I leave. Here we go. Got it. So here is the link.
You're on mute again.
Mute, 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 mute.
All right, how about now? So what happens is whenever the Hangouts detects me typing, it mutes me, which is kind of a good feature, I guess, but also kind of a pain, because then I can't talk and type at the same time for the Hangout, even though I can do two things at once. So that's all right, though. All right, so again, congratulations to Mo Duffy. Also congratulations to Ricky Ensley, who is the community manager for opensource.com. That's definitely a place where we have a lot of overlap with interested storytellers and storytelling. So that's an awesome, well-deserved award for Ricky. And on top of that, one of the recipients this year was also Sarah Sharp, who has been a participant and a mentor in the Outreachy program and does a lot of excellent work in kernel hacking land, and was recipient of the 2015 Red Hat Women in Open Source Award. So again, really happy with all the folks who won the awards this year, especially our friends in Fedora land and opensource.com. Very, very awesome. Congrats to all the winners. Link is in channel. So that's a big announcement. A nice press release went out, or a blog post went out about that. And it's going to get posted to our Facebook and our Twitter, etc. after this. So we are at 3 o'clock. I think that's all the big announcements from me. Of course, sending Matt DM's regrets and regards. He's actually dealing with some family emergency stuff right now. So our hearts and thoughts are with you, Matt DM. And we'll help pick up the slack while you're gone. And we look forward to you being back at 100% soon. Anybody else got any open business? Going once. Going twice. Going thrice.
So
All
I
right.
just want to say, if you
Oh.
ever wanted to have an exclusive look into the SUSE offices, or yeah, here you are. This was probably the first Fedora Council meeting that was broadcasted live from the SUSE headquarters.
I
Anyway,
did notice there
looking
was a lot of green.
yeah, that's the green hell. We have plenty of plants here.
Nice. Right on. Well, thank you, Christoph, for your presentation today, for sharing your slides, for the work you've been doing. I'm excited to see what's going to happen with FOSCO and for getting our various sub-projects aligned, similarly to how we have our engineering ecosystem aligned within Fedora. It's all going to be very helpful. Our next council meeting is canceled, which is falling on Memorial Day here in the U.S. Also is in the middle of PyCon, so I'm happy to not be there. But I believe our next meeting will be the week after, and there is an email somewhere that says what it's about, but it's not in front of me right now, so I'm not going to waste any time. All right. Thank you all very much, and I'll see you in IRC. I'll see you on the mailing lists, and I'll post the logs to the lists after our meeting is done. Thanks, everybody on the council, and we'll see you next time. Happy hacking, Internet.